Hey, thanks for stopping by to check out our channel today. All right, this little project, we've been inspired from all the things we've seen out on the internet of the various ways you can repurpose a pallet. And my wife wanted to see if I could repurpose a pallet and use it for a gate for our porch, and it's just to keep some of the animals out. So I'm going to go over this with you real quick. It only takes about 45 minutes to an hour maybe to do this project, and it's pretty inexpensive. So basically what you'll have to do is measure what your opening is, and for what we had here, we needed to cut about 6 inches off of this, and this can be done if you've got a circular saw or jigsaw or maybe like a reciprocating saw. You can just cut that edge off right here, and then we'll hop around here and show you. So looking from the back side of it, so we basically cut this piece out, right? We made the cut, and now we ended up having this board and a few planks about 6 inches long that were attached to it, and it was basically the leftover pieces from these and from the other side. So real easy. We just removed those back off, slid the board back in again, used some good decking screws and ran that back in there to reinforce that and use that again, so it's got the same kind of rustic look. Then we went over here, and since the outside piece on this pallet is going to be too narrow to really to be able to handle the weight with the hinges on it, we dropped another 2x4 and we just slid it in from the top. Now this board wasn't there, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but you'll be able to slide that in on the end. And then we had, probably if we would have had one more 2x4 and I didn't happen to have the scrap, we would have run a third one down there, because you'll need to run on this particular hinge. I could have run an extra screw here on these if I would have had one more, and that would have reinforced a little bit more. But we found that just the 2x4s there and this one little piece, just at least to get all the screws in on this side, seemed to work pretty good. So again, we're repurposing things. You know, we didn't go to the store and buy a whole bunch of fancy stuff to do this. This is a really rustic kind of gate, and this can be used, you know, on the deck or wherever you want to do it. But the most expensive thing on the project really was about maybe 10 bucks, I think, for the hinges. We capped off the top of this with a board that was just a rough sawn piece of wood, ran it through the planer, and then we ran screws into that, and those are deck screws. And then because the pallets tend to be rough, and you don't want to have somebody get, you don't want to end up with a bunch of splinters in your hands. So what we did is, just in the areas that we thought that people may grab here, just so they don't get splinters, is we sanded this with started off with 80 grit sandpaper, then went to 120, and then 200. And so we did that on all the sides here, and then down to about maybe like right here seemed to work pretty good. Mostly the way this is being grabbed, it seems, everybody's pretty much grabbing it from the top right here. So we still kind of wanted to leave the rusticness of it. So then the final thing is we did 3 coats of boiled linseed oil, and that was just brushed on. We let it dry for maybe about 10 minutes in between the coats, and that's pretty much it right there. It ends up closing really nicely, and we had to fabricate something here just to be able to close in a latch. So we found this little piece that we had here, which is just really, you've probably seen something like this. It's made for hanging tools, maybe a broom in your garage, and we screwed it in on an angle. We attached this 4x4, have it reinforced with a couple of brackets, and this is screwed in on an angle. So when it closes, it's just simply a quick turn like that, and that pins the door. So so that's the project. I hope this helps you out. You can see it ends up looking kind of cool, rustic, and hey, it's an inexpensive way to repurpose a gate, and it's working. As far as what we intended it to do, it's working just fine, keeping all the goats and chickens out. And so hope this helps you out. There's a lot of great information out there. I'm sure there's better ways to have done this, but this is a simple way to turn a pallet into something that's really useful. Have a great day. We'll see you.